Hey, what's happening, everybody? It's your favorite leather craftsman, the leather cowboy right here, Premier Leather Crafters in the Dirty South. The Dirty South is where I lay my head at. To the custom flask, leather flask. I found these in my scrap bin box. So, ladies and gentlemen, one thing that you want to do is go through your boxes and stuff. You will be surprised of the stuff that you will find where it's not supposed to be. And I've been looking for these for years. I thought I lost them in the move, but they were actually in my scrap bin box. So, but these here, ladies and gentlemen, and I'm going to put the link to where I bought these at. You can pretty much buy them anywhere. You can buy them off of Temu. You can buy them off of Amazon. You can buy them off of eBay. Pretty much anywhere. So there's not a direct go-to source that you can buy these from. This is the 8-ounce flask, and I also have the 4-ounce flask. Let me make sure that's. This is the 6. So the 6-ounce, the 8-ounce, and the 6. I don't think they make anything smaller than a 6. That'll really be a waste of time. But just to show you guys, there's really not difference, but that's the amount of an ounce, the equivalent of an ounce difference. So when you see these, I would just go ahead and spend the money and buy the 6-ounce. Just go ahead and get the 6-ounce. Then that way, because there's not too much dollar value difference between the 6 and the 8. So go ahead and get the 8, and that way you can get a box of these. I think at the time when I bought these, I think I bought 10 of them for it was less than 15 bucks. And these are the aluminum ones. And they come with a little funnel that you can put in the top of these, so when you pour in your favorite spirit, because it can be orange juice. I don't know. But it comes with a little funnel that you can stick down in there and you can fill these up. But now I bought these because you can go one or two ways with the stainless or the aluminum ones. If you know someone who's, because I left myself open the option of if I wanted to get these engraved. Now I did go to Harbor Freight and I bought this little grinding engraver that you can just etch, but you know, that's a different animal than what I do. So I just went back to what I know. Do it on leather, and then you can go many different ways. So what I'm going to do here, I've already cut out my pattern and went ahead and did my design. This is the pattern that I put together for this. And it's pretty simple, ladies and gentlemen. Pretty real simple. Just a poster board. Let me get this light off of here so you guys can see. Just a poster board, and I left myself enough room to go, because this is what is the important piece, is this. Now, can you make this a little bit bigger? Yes, you can. It really depends on you. You can go all the way up to here with just to leave a nice little rim, and then you can extend it all the way down to the bottom and leave that little rim just if you want. But I did mine to where I can make a lot of them at one time. And if you get the 6-ounce, you see the 6-ounce, it is really perfect for that 6-ounce. But you can do a lot with these. And so I'm going to go ahead and just do some basic tooling work. I think the idea was to go ahead and I'm going to put a different pattern in each one of these sections, just to give it a little flair and individuality. So, and then now what I did mention was you guys want to make sure that you get all of your small tools, because these sections here really aren't that big. So you want to make sure that you get all of your small tools. Don't forget to masking tape the backside of your leather so it doesn't warp or move shape on you as you're tooling. And then I use my square blade. Ooh, I'm glad that went off there. Use my square blade to cut my straight lines, and then I came back with my angle blade to cut my circle out. So let's get started on this real quick. And I'm just going to do a little design. I will speed the tape up or speed the video up so it'll brush through all of that, and then we can get to the ending points. So let's get to crafting. All right, so here we are, ladies and gentlemen, just doing a basic, simple pattern here. Um, but all of the tools that I'm going to be giving you guys today is just, I use these tools over and over and over again. So if you watch the other video series of knowing your tools and what they can do or what they should be able to do. No, not what they should do, because they'll do what you make them do or put them in the direction of doing. So, but I pretty much use the same tools over and over again. My modeling spoon is my go-to to clean up all of my bevels, even my deep bevels. My angled 45 ceramic blade for cutting that circle out. My straight square blade for cutting straight lines. I tell you guys to do these all the same. I mean, the same stuff. This is the a beveling tool, the angled beveler. You guys seen me use this one before too. This is a smooth beveler. And this is a Tandy's tool. It's a craft tool. F896. F896. Now this one here that I used, I did this on my straight lines to get that deep pitch. And this one here is another craft tool, B200. B200 and B896. And then I'm going to be using some of the other smaller tools, craft tools, Tandy tools too as well, to do the different patterns and shapes inside of these. Now, I know you probably saw that cedar. I got two cedar tools here. Now, these two cedar tools are my goats. They're my go-tos anytime. Let me give you these numbers. And again, all of these are all craft tools. S864 and S706. S864, S as in Sam, 706. Now, interestingly enough, what I'm going to do with these cedars, and they're two different sizes. So I'm going to change up the cedars, but I'm going to stamp these into my main, these wide lines here. So I'm going to hit it with the big one, then come back with the little one, hit it with the big one. And then now that's all you're going to be able to get on these is just 3. But on the main line, I'm going to go big, little, until it gets all the way to the end. Just to give it a little different variation and change. You know, just to change it up just a little bit. So now, if you're going to mark these, which would be good for you, just to grab you a ruler and mark them off. But I'm going to eyeball it. I'm going to just eyeball this. So I'm going to put my cedar there. And then I'm going to put one here. Then I'm just going to drop this one right in the center. Boom. That's it. That's it. Just to change it up just a little bit, give it a little bit of different variation. So let's keep going right with this. and I'm going to just, now I'm going to do a little altering with the steps because I want to make sure that they stay pretty much consistently the same width. Now if you're going with the measuring, which would speed up this work, and then you can just drop your cedar onto your measure. Or whatever mark you put out there. You can drop your cedar. But I've been doing this for a minute. And numbers for this I'm going to give you is this, again, craft tools. X500. X as in X-ray 500. And that's the little bitty brother to this one. Now, the bigger one is X534, X-ray 534. Now, when you're buying your tools, and let me drop this tip to you. This not even a tip. It's definitely not a secret, but it's a tip, a helpful tip. When you're starting out with leather crafting, go ahead and get the larger of the tools or the middle size tool first. Mini camouflage, I'm going to be using the small camouflaging tool here. So I'm just giving you guys these numbers real quick before I forget. And this is C for camouflage 709, C709. And then and then I think that's it because I've already given you guys the beveler tools already. So let's get to working on these as well. I'm going to go with the small basket weave first. Alternate sides. So let me grab my compass here, and this is one that I'm going to lay out. Let me find my center mark there, because this is going to be a real cool layout. I don't know why I didn't think of that earlier. I'm going to use the same patterns, but I'm going to alternate the sides. So this small basket weave pattern that I'm using here, I'm going to use it up here. So everything will be a direct mirror, just like it is with my cedars. Ow! See, I told you guys, man, this is why I love doing this. So let's come here and drop this one in real quick. Now, what I'm going to do is alternate the legs. So if I'm on the right side of my guideline, I'm going to alternate and put the right leg on the left side of the guideline. So let me show you guys how we're going to do this and make all of this match. Now you want to make sure that you leave a good enough impression in your leather, because when I get ready to stain this, it's going, I really want that tooling work to pop. I really want my tooling work to pop. So, and as you can see, this is how it looks here. We just alternated legs. Now I'm going to go in and fill in all of the open gaps with the same tool. So I'm just going to connect the legs to fill in these gap spaces. Then I'm going to tell you guys a good leather crafting secret on finishing, especially on this particular pattern, because you don't want to leave any open ends into this particular pattern or shape. Ooh, let me go back in there. All right, now, and what I mean by that is, you see all of the open legs here? I'm going to go in, and now what you would have to do is, like right here on the edge, where it's almost to that borderline, I'm going to rock my tool just up enough to where it doesn't put an impression into my border. Now, same thing when I get to the edge here. Instead of rocking it forward like this, I'm going to lean it over on this leg, and then it'll just do a nice little finishing around the edge part before it goes into the border. So I'm going to go ahead and finish it out on this side over here. all done. Now, what will normally transpire and take place is you will come back with your camouflaging tool, and you're going to come around this edge right here and hide all of those round where we took the tool and rocked it over. So that's exactly what we're doing right here. And that's why, if you think about it, camouflaging tool will camouflage these open ends or these open legs on your tooling work. Tool back, you can see it gets shorter and shorter, but now I can just rock that tool back and put it back in so I can get all the way up in that corner. Now, I'm not going to bore you guys to death and you're going to watch me tool this whole entire thing. I'm going to go ahead, like I said, I'm going to mirror both sides. So the same thing that I did on this side, I'm going to do it over here, and then I'm just going to switch it up with another tool and do the same thing. And then now, you guys will see in the next part of the video, or in another video, I'm going to resist these lines here and resist that center circle. I'm going. Hey, what's happening, everybody? This is your favorite leather craftsman once again, and we're right here with our. Let me angle this down. We are finishing up the custom flask, leather flask, and what we're getting ready to do. I've already a contact cemented my face plate on here because I want this to stay stationary. I felt that it would have been a little too tight to try to wiggle and slide on here after after I do the Mexican basket weave. Plus, I was kind of, now I'm still going to stick with the basic idea of leaving, once I start this start just the lacing, I will be able to take my popsicle stick and run me some glue strips up the side of both sides of the stitching, and then that way once it sets I'll be able to push that down and it will be able to hold and lock in place. That's the overall idea, but you guys see how it's already been attached already. Now the thing with Mexican basket weaving, I'm going to put my I already have my lace and stuff here ready. The thing with the Mexican basket weave, you have to weave this a little bit different than usual, or lace this a little bit different than usual. So let me get here, now I'm putting my slab just over my cutting board because I cut on this board so much. I don't want those cuts and high rises in the cutting board to show up as marks into my leather. So I want this to stay as close to perfect and ready to go as possible. Now this is going to be a little hard doing this with a flat needle. I'm going to see, you guys are doing this right with me, so this is going to be interesting to see just how this is going to pan out. So, but what I'm going to do, I'm going to lace this a little loose, and then that way, once I get to, let me grab my lacing owl. Now, what you want to do is, again, put your owl in here and turn a quarter turn, just to open this hole up, or open your chisel punches up a little bit. I wouldn't go no more than about 4 or 5 at a time, because they'll start to close up on you anyway, and then you have to redo it over again. So this will stay open long enough. I think I'm going to work right down to that part. This will stay open long enough to where I can start my lacing. Now, the thing with Mexican basket weave, you want to start in the second hole from the top of your punch. So I want to start this in the second hole from the top. 1, 2. And this is where I'm going to come out of first. I'm going to come out of here, and I'm going to pull this all the way to about maybe an inch not pull the lace all the way out, but I want to pull it about an inch away. And then I'm going to keep my needle and my lace flat, and then I'm going right back into the first hole of the opposite side. And then I am going to pull this, draw this not tight close, but you can see how it's already setting my first X, my first X. Now that's what a Mexican basket weave is. It is basically double X lacing on a flat surface. Now, generally, when you do double X lacing, like on belts, you can go into the same hole twice. That's what gives you the double X crisscross. Now, there is another way where you can go 3 and 4 times into that same hole, but you really want to have some good lace for one. You don't want to use the cheap stuff. And then you want to make sure that you have to pull the right tension with that, or it's going to keep breaking all of the time. And that's nothing more nerve-wracking to a crafter than to keep having lace repeatedly break on you, because then you got to go back and stitch again. So now I went into the first hole, back into the first, and then the first hole on the initial starting side, and I'm going to create my first X by going into the second hole on the opposite side here. And if you guys can see this, now I'm going to find my starter, and I'm going to pull this just so I'll know where it is. And you guys can see that right there. That's my first X. Now, to create that double X, I'm going to go right back from the second hole back into the first hole, and then I'm going to cross over to the third hole, and then I'm going to go here and then back up to the second hole on the starter side, and then go back down to the fourth hole on the opposite side. So you're basically going to go in and out of every hole twice. And then when you go into that second time, the second time is the automatic crossover to create that second X. Now I'm going to leave this a little loose. So by the time I get down to the base part, I'm just going to go back and pull all of my X's tight, as if you was tightening up your shoelaces on your own shoes. So you're going to start at the bottom and then start pulling all of the X's or the crisscrosses tight. So now I'm here into the going into the starter side, and I'm going to run my flat needle. Now a curved needle would be perfect with this, because all you would have to do then at that point is just to hook your needle, and you won't have to just kind of keep it loose like this. So I would encourage you to get you some curved needles so it doesn't work as hard against you like I'm doing here. This is really the hard way, but it's a way that you can do it. So now I'm going back up into my very first hole, chisel punch. I'm just going to loosely pour that up. Enough to where my finger is up under here, and that's enough. Now the hardest part about this is making sure that you don't, and I'm going to go right up the back side, making sure that you don't come up under your lace. So you want to come right behind that stitch with your needle. And I'm going to pull this out. Making sure that initial lace is, I'm going to just pull this out of here. Now, just to pull that tight, and then I'm going to come across down to the next one and back over here. Well, let me just come down to the next one to keep it simple for you guys. Pull that through, making sure that my lace is flat. See, I skipped a hole just to keep my lace flat. And then I'm going to come back into the crossing hole right up from it. Making sure that my lace is flat as I pull it. And then guess where we're going? Right back into that empty hole there that's going to create that X. This is the Mexican basket weave. And then we're going to pull that through. It's not hard to do. This way it is primarily because, one, the piece is already attached. But secondly, and I'm going to go into that same hole. Oh, actually, I did that wrong. I should have went back up into the top one. So the great part about this is when you have these type of needles, you can just pull the needle off and then reattach the needle to go back right. Because you'll never be able to get that needle to go back up backwards into that chisel punch. So it's best to just go ahead and pull the needle off. I'm just going to crimp that so it'll stay tight. Flatten my needle surface, pull my lace back out so my needle will lay flat. And then I'm going back into the top, the one right above the empty one. Pull that through. Making sure that my lace is flat. And making sure that your lace is flat is just an easy way of making sure that, there it goes. Well, making sure that that lace is flat is just an easy way of pulling it through those flat chisel punch, because the chisel punch is flat. So you want to make sure that that lace is flat and it pulls through very easily. Now I'm going into my empty hole and pulling that through, making sure that lace is flat. You guys can see, double X. Double X. And then once we pull this through, you won't be able to see any gaps into the lacing. Now you can single X stitch this. It's just not as cosmetically good looking as the double X is, because those double X's are going to close the tightness of your lacing. But you can get the job done all of the same. And now I'm just going to make sure that I go up the outside part of that first X. And just got to find, my hole is closing up, so I'm going to push my owl back through there and open that hole up so I can find the hole and push it right through. And just make sure that that lace is flat. And then I'm going to go into this empty hole here to create the X. Pull that down. And then I'm going back into the one below it, the open one. Basically, ladies and gentlemen, what you're going to do is just keep skipping a hole. Every other hole that, once you come under your leather piece, you're going to skip the hole and come up under the top one, because you're going to have a double X on the top and a single X on the bottom. And that's just because you're going into that same hole twice. And then we're just going to push that there, pull that out. And then here's the first one. I'm going to come across the top, go into that second one, and pull that. Pull that through. Go through the one across it. Pull that through. And then here's my X. I'm going to go across this to this empty hole, boom, and create that there. There's my first X. And now I'm going into this one here and come back out, and go into the one right over here. There we go. It's all nice. Now, when you do this, let me drop this. You guys got the idea of how this works. Now, the general rule, if you're not doing it, this is the hard way. I really made this a lot harder for myself than I should have. But that's because I glued the front face on, and so it's on there permanently. But when you do this, you want to make your lace 7 times the length of the project that you are lacing. 7 times. So I laid it down, pulled it. That's 1. Then I went back here, pulled it again. 2, came back. 3, 4, 5, 6, so forth. Now, doing it this way, I would suggest that you go a little bit longer. Maybe add an additional 10 inches because it's so loose. Now, it's not to say that you're throwing away the lace or you're using extra lace that can't be used, because you could use it in another smaller project, a key fob or something like that, which you should have at least about this much lace left, at least 1.5 feet, 16, 15 inches. And that's enough to do another little small hair bow or a key fob, like I said, or ID bracelet or something like that. But you just want to make sure you go 7 times the length. This is the hard way. And then you'll still be able to pull all of the slack and tighten this all up. But you guys get an idea of how this is going to look with that double X lacing going all the way down it. All right. I guess in the next video there's going to be a second one or another one. But that one will just be a finished look. And then I'll get right off into the next project, which I am letting mold right now, is the custom valet tray. So you guys will be able to see the finished product on the leather flask in the custom valet tray. And then we'll start that video with this, and then I'll go right into the formation of the valet tray. So this is pretty much it, ladies and gentlemen. It's late night, looking for bad storms tomorrow, so I'm going to really get to work and take advantage of being indoors again because of the bad weather. But you guys keep coming in and tuning into the channel. I'm going to give it to you just like I got it, to help you project you a little bit further along in your leather crafting, whether you're a beginner or intermediate or even a master craftsman. There's always something to learn every day. All right, I'll see you guys on the other side. Peace. Keep crafting.